Okay, so we're here with another episode of the Gritty Hour. I'm here with Shawnee Boy, my trusted cohort.
What's up, T? Oh, you know it's always good to be here.
Yes, and I'm smart enough to keep the three screen thing because in case I get my ambrosia going, the incense, for the
Yeah, I got you. That white, the white vanilla. I know.
Yeah.
me in the mood, And we have a special guest today. Chris McGeady, who happens to be my godson and nephew, and you may have seen or heard him in a previous podcast. He's the owner, along with his wife, of C&M Housing Solutions in the Morgantown, PA area, Pennsylvania, and he was saying he was looking forward to this podcast because he can talk about something other than real estate for a change. Because I know you do a lot of podcasts down there, right, Chris?
Well, I've done plenty of podcasts and they're all real estate related. So I'm excited about this one, a little more low key, relax, maybe talk about something else, right?
Yeah, we could talk about anything you want. We don't pre-plan these things. We talk right out of our ass, right, Sean?
Our expression is shits and giggles. This is just shits and giggles.
That's what I said.
Just, to be honest, which is the real reason we started this podcast. So, but occasionally we do have serious guests, but for the most part, we do it for shits and giggles.
Well, let's have some fun with it. So can I start? I saw the subject line of the email that you sent out for the invitation here.
Yes, that's
right. And
the name of this podcast, by the way.
And I was curious as to what the first thought for you was writing that subject line. And when you saw it, John, the first thought that came to your mind, because I had something pop right into my head as soon as I saw the email come through.
Well, what would you tell us? Share with us, please.
Something about dragging a Christmas tree down the steps when it was still 75 degrees out, maybe.
Because that's
Oh man, I haven't thought about that in a minute.
And for the people who don't know what the hell we're talking about, maybe Sean can explain. No, it's better I explain it.
You explain it. That's kind of your story to tell.
When Chris and Sean were kids, I believe it was the day after Thanksgiving. When you're kids, you want to rush to the Christmas season, right? And I'm sitting in the living room of your mother's house, Sean, and all of a sudden I hear, it's like, what the hell is that? So I go up the staircase, and sure enough, there's Sean and Christopher dragging the Christmas tree out of the attic. Couldn't wait for that Christmas.
Oh yeah, and well, we were like whispering, like, so nobody would knew what. Like the crazy thought is like you're a kid, you're like, we're gonna sneak this down, but then it's a fucking Christmas tree. Like it's not like you're not sneaking it on anybody.
I'm not sure you get in trouble post Thanksgiving for bringing the tree out.
They'll never know there's a 7-foot Christmas tree standing in the living room.
We got this.
They won't notice it.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, to our defense, a lot of people will go out the day after Thanksgiving and cut their Christmas tree down now. And maybe we were ahead of our time because now you know that the Thanksgiving to Christmas is nothing. Feels like 3 days. So we did that for good reason.
Yeah. Now you're saying, we'll do it by the 15th. We're good.
Yeah. December 20th. Oh,
Yeah.
Now the first Sunday of December, I put my Christmas tree up.
Yeah, that works.
Whatever. That's just how it's just easy. I mean, I have a fake. My brother. I mean, this is the thing for people who celebrate Christmas. My brother, Keith, you guys know, he went the other route because Tammy grew up with real trees. He does a real tree. And we did a fake tree our whole lives. I still do a fake tree. I mean, it's easy. You put it in a box. Mine's like 6 feet tall. It's it's up and it takes like 20 minutes to put it up. That's where I'm at with that.
So we were doing a fake tree for a lot of years in a row. And we decided to go out and do the country thing and go out and cut our own tree down. And that experience was this. We went out to the farm. There was a bunch of trees cut already, and some of them were dug up for like decorations. So there was like these 4-foot holes. I spent the whole day telling the kids, watch out for the holes. You don't want to fall in the hole. Don't want to fall in the hole. So we found our Christmas tree, cut it down, and started dragging this thing away. The first step I made, I fell into the hole.
Oh, gosh.
And I sprained my ankle, and I was out for like 4 months. So fake it is.
Where's National Lampoon when you need them?
Yeah, did you feel like a Griswold doing that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But you gotta be the tough guy. I couldn't put any weight on my foot whatsoever. I was out in the middle of this farm that we had to get picked up by a tractor. And my oldest daughter was with me because, of course, the younger kids had to go to the bathroom. So they all walked back to the farm, which was like a mile and a half away from where we were. And Brittany's like, let me call 911. We can get an ambulance out here. I said, no, don't worry about it. I'll get there. I ripped off a branch of the Christmas tree and I'm using it as a crutch and we're limping across the farm.
Oh man.
Drag myself out.
Drag
myself up into the tractor and they took us back to the farm from there.
Were you walking in snow?
There was no snow, no.
Okay. No. I was like, that would be.
No.
Yeah, my first thought when I saw the headline, like I had like 10 things go through my mind. Like us growing up playing baseball. For some reason, you falling into the ice in the lake came into my head.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was so.
Tell me that story, Chris, because I remember you telling me how you got out of that ice. But tell me the whole story.
So we lived really close to this lake, and it would freeze over every winter, and people would go out and play hockey. And
Chris, I'm going to pause you for a second. Chris he moved in with us for about 4 or 5 years. I don't know exactly, like from like 5th or 6th grade up to like 8th or 9th.
It was just about that, like 4.5 years.
Yeah.
So one winter we went down like we always did to go ice skating or play around on the lake, and in between the hockey games, like the guys would go out during the day, at night, and do ice fishing. And when they did the ice fishing, they would, like drill through the ice like they do, but they would also set these like little mini campfires out on the ice, which wouldn't burn all the way through, but of course it would soften everything. So we went out. Was it just the two of us, or Ryan was there too?
Ryan,
yeah.
Our buddy Ryan, who now lives in LA, but our buddy Ryan, yeah.
Oh, was he in LA? I didn't know that. Okay, so he was with us too, and we're out there playing around, and I fell through one of these spots. Like it was glazed over, like it was trying to re-ice itself up again. And I don't know if it was one of them pits or one of the drilled out pits, but as soon as I went over it, the whole thing just caved in. It was, and I got sucked in for a good couple seconds.
Yep.
And then I could swear like it felt like somebody had their hands up under my armpits and whipped me back out, because I shot up out of there like a bird and slid back out onto the ice. And that was pretty freaky.
Yeah, that's the crazy part of that story. So like me, Chris is here. Me and Ryan are kind of 10 feet away. Like whatever. And he goes in and he shoots right in, and he literally shoots right out. I'm like, how the fuck did he do that? My first thought was like, oh shit, we gotta save it. Like how are we gonna, like you watch It's a Wonderful Life. They're like chain fence.
Well, how deep was the water?
I'm sure it was deep enough he would have drowned. That's for sure.
Like you didn't propel yourself from your feet out to the.
Oh no, we've swam in that in the summertime before. That's 10, 12 feet easy.
Yeah. That was a man-made lake. So like right when you walked in the water, it was shallow, but then it got deep pretty fast.
What year was that? Do you recall the actual year? Early 90s?
Yeah.
Wow.
90, that's 91, 90. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 90, 91, 92, got to be around there.
I'm just saying that's right after your grandfather passed away.
Yeah. So I mean, we like when we lived together, there's a lot of stories. I just now I'm gonna say this and we'll see how it goes. But I just told this story to my mother, your mother, about when me and Christopher we both saw a ghost in the house I grew up in. And I know to this day he knows. It's like I'm gonna tell the story. He's like, yep, that's exactly what we used to sleep in the living room. We were like 12, 13 years old. We'd stay up late and sleep in the living room. And we both literally woke up at like 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't know, TV's on. And
You Chris?
Yeah, me and Chris.
Yeah.
And there's a female standing over us. But and we both like, we're like, yo, you see that? He's like, yeah, you see it. Like, what do we do? Like, yo, just go back to sleep. Like it was just, and then we woke up thinking it was my sister. That was like playing games with us or trying to fuck with us, because she would do something like that sometimes. And like we asked her, she said no. I asked her like throughout like the year. I asked her like 5 years later, like it wasn't her. So like I know, like we both saw her.
Oh no, that was 100%, 100%. And
What was
it branches out from us because we had friends sleep over the house that saw this same person.
Yeah.
what was she wearing?
Like a gownish kind of thing.
Yeah, it was that's the way I would explain it, like a gown. And it was, looking back on it, shouldn't make sense because yes, the TV was on, and if you walk in front of a TV, you might be illuminated a little bit, but this person was like glowing by themselves. It wasn't because of the TV.
Yeah, there was a glow. She had like long black curly-ish hair. I don't know how long, but it was like, long enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Like I asked, was she good looking?
I don't remember seeing like a face. Like I don't remember seeing like an actual, but like I was chicken shit to even look. I was like, no, I'm good.
Well, that's the thing.
I'm
That's
good.
the thing. And we used to sleep in that, you remember in that house where there was that little extra room next to the living room?
Where the books were, the bookshelf.
Yeah. And then for a period of time, there was a couch that went 90 degrees to that bookshelf, and we wouldn't sleep on the couch. We'd sleep in front of it on the floor.
Yeah. So
Yeah, well, I had heard that where you used to live was haunted.
yeah, I mean, I was just
Over
talking.
there plenty of times. I don't remember ever having any kind of experience like that.
Yeah, my sister had a bunch of experiences with it. She like one time she woke up and like she felt like something on her and she literally couldn't move. My mom and her friends used to play Ouija board in the fucking kitchen. So like, I mean,
You're asking for trouble, goddammit.
and she had like clowns up around the house. I'm like, what are you trying? Are you trying for me not to sleep? Is that what
Oh, the dining room, yeah, the dining room was a horror story in itself with the bookshelf with the clown sitting in there.
Oh my God. She's like, what's the big deal? I'm like, well, we saw Poltergeist growing up and the fucking clown came alive. Side note, I showed Poltergeist on Halloween this year. Like, I had 4 kids in the class, whatever. For Halloween, I showed them Poltergeist. It's still scary. Like, I couldn't sleep for like 2 days. I was like, nah, man, I'm good. This is stupid.
How old are these kids you teach?
13, 14.
And you're showing them poltergeist.
They like took it in stride. Like, yeah, whatever. They're like, Mr. Purcell, all right, whatever, man. And then like, I'm like, yo, you really? I'm like, for me, like, if it freaked me out.
Parent teacher night must be interesting for you.
Oh yeah.
What the hell are you showing my kid?
Nah, they don't. They these days that's like PG.
That's right.
It's true.
So, well, back to the house for a second. I had my own experiences there, but the one I remember in particular was, and it builds up from like a collective of experiences. It was a 2-story house, and I slept downstairs. For most of the time I was there, I slept downstairs, and what used to be the dining room was made into my bedroom. And the stairway would come down, and you could either go into a hallway or the living room, but they would both eventually meet up in the dining room. And almost every single night, you could hear somebody walking down the steps, walking down the hallway, walking through the kitchen, and walk right into that dining room. And it happened night after night after night after night. And I talked to Aunt Virginia about it with Sean's mom.
Well, that might
And
be me taking a leak and getting a sandwich.
So we had a long conversation about that, and she told me that everybody knew that this person was there, or this entity or whatever. So it kind of relaxed me a little bit, and then maybe got a little too relaxed because I didn't get freaked out by this thing walking around at night anymore. And one night the foot of my bed went down as if you sat on it real slow. And then my feet just went, and I threw the covers over my head because that's the safest you could be as a 12-year-old. Throw the covers over your head and just start shaking.
You're invincible. You're invincible. They're like,
Did you look down first? Like there was nobody there? You just felt like somebody sat on the bottom of your bed?
It felt like it, yeah. So I was laying on my back and my head was out of the covers. And when my feet went down, there was nobody there. So covers went up, and I was good to go. I was gonna wait till the sun comes up.
I got chills just like thinking about it now. I do.
Well, Christopher and I went to Gettysburg often. In fact, we went a month ago.
Oh, really? Did you?
Yeah.
I went down to see Chris and his family. It was around middle of July, Chris.
It was just about a month now.
And we took a day trip to Gettysburg, but that was like the 20th time. I mean, we were there, right? That was like the 20th year.
Yeah. Had to be.
What about 12 years in between? But we did go for like 19 straight years. And we were always, it has a reputation for being haunted, Gettysburg, right? And one time he and I was it your truck or my truck? We slept on the battlefield, which you're not supposed to do. We got you were an adult. I can publicly say we got some beers and just chilled out on the battlefield. We didn't experience anything except, maybe a hangover the next day. But
you guys slept in your trucks overnight on the field?
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it was a cool idea. And the underlying reason was we wanted to see if we would experience anything on the battlefield, but we didn't.
Gotcha.
But I have some photos of him when he was a kid and we used to go of those, you ever see those photos with the white orbs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one where he's right at what they call the high water mark, or the angle, right at the target of where Pickett's charge, if you've heard
Charge, yeah.
Pickett's charge, was supposed to go, and he was standing in front of a cannon, and it was dark out already, and because that was actually the 4th of July, and
That's right. We were there to watch the
there
fireworks.
to watch the fireworks, and there's a photo of him either sitting on a cannon or standing next to one. There's like 100 orbs around you. I don't know if you remember seeing that.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what I did with that photo, but
Yeah, I've seen photos with people that have like the orb with the white flash behind them or whatever.
But I'll tell you one experience. I don't know if this is a valid one or not, but the main times we went was to go see the reenactments around the anniversary of the actual battle, which was the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of July. So we would go every July. And for like the first 8 or 9 years, for some reason, we could not find the Irish Brigade Memorial. Okay. Right, Chris? We went, it's a huge field. You've never been there, right, Sean?
No.
You got to get out there. We'll drag you out there next year. And you can drive around for hours and not see the whole battlefield. You can walk around for days and not see the whole battlefield. But for like 8 or 9 years, we could not find this Irish Brigade Memorial and monument. And one time we went to a reenactment of Pickett's charge, and the plan was, because we stayed in Gettysburg town that day, woke up the next day, and the plan was to go to the reenactment and then go right back to New York from right after the reenactment. And so we go to the reenactment and we get in the car and we're going home. We were on 30, whatever that thing north to go to Harrisburg is.
Yeah.
15 north or whatever it is.
15, that's where it is.
Yeah, and the state trooper diverted us because there was a state trooper there, because it's a huge crowd that goes to these reenactments, and all of a sudden we're back on the battlefield, and I swear to God, it didn't feel like I was operating the motor vehicle. It felt like something else was driving the motor vehicle. And then, we're making a left and then a right and then a left to go around a bend, and there's the Irish Brigade Memorial. It was a very strange thing. It was a very strange experience for me.
Yeah, we spent years looking for that thing, and we got diverted to it.
Yeah, it's like, but the strange part is I didn't feel like I was driving the car.
Yeah.
And then subsequently, we would go back every year and put, an American flag and an Irish flag in front of the memorial. That was our thing. And we dragged Uncle Steve and Renee went, and your brother and
Tammy, right?
And Tammy. This is before I was born.
Yeah.
And and my sister Susan went, and we never got Shawnee Boy out there.
Yeah, that sounds like you guys all went when I was living in Queens, and I was in a different world when I was in Queens. Did we have family in the Irish Brigade in the Civil War? Or?
No, we had two great, well, to me, it's two great uncles that fought with the 28th Pennsylvania on Culp's Hill, which is the right flank of the Union position during the battle.
You guys, I was gonna say maybe maybe they helped bring you there.
It was John and Edward. It might have been. It was John and Edward McGeady that fought with the 28th Pennsylvania. They would be my grandfather's uncles.
And in good McGeady fashion, they're misspelled on the monument.
That was enough to do. They spelled our last name wrong.
Did they forget the C or something?
And I wrote a letter to everybody and their mother.
The mother, your mother.
And I think the governor of Pennsylvania, or whoever the hell it was, wrote back saying, whenever that was put up, the Pennsylvania Memorial Monument, the veterans had until like 1901 to change whatever needed to be changed. And it would take an act of Congress to change it after that. Or Christopher and I with a stew on and a chisel. We could change it just as easily. But we never did.
You replace that headstone, you put yours in.
Oh, that's it.
No, it's the biggest monument on the field, as far as I know, the Pennsylvania Monument. And there's, thousands of names on it, right, Chris?
Oh yeah.
Is there okay, Christopher? No, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, well, I'm sure you have a question to that, but I was gonna say after your question, we can't lightly skip over that baseball thing at the house, because I feel like that was that was a pinnacle.
Are we going back to the title of the podcast?
Yeah.
The blank?
Backtrack. No, my last question was, is there a museum? Is there like a walkthrough museum at the Gettysburg, or is it just outside kind of field?
Well, there used to be what they called a cyclorama and visitors center right on Cemetery Hill, which was the main part of the Union position, right at the foot of the actual town. And but the National Park Service and a private organization, quasi-private organization called American Battlefield Trust, has been restoring the battlefield back to its original, the way it looked during the time of the Civil War.
Gotcha.
So they removed that cyclorama. I don't know where it is now, but they removed it from the battlefield, and they moved the visitor center. They built a new one a little further away, right, Chris? Was probably near Rock Creek or Brenner's Hill, actually, somewhere over there on the far right of the battlefield.
That's the National Parks and Recreation. I heard you talking about sleeping on the battlefield at night.
Yeah, they're like.
So no, they did an excellent job, because like I said, we went last month for the first time in over a decade. We went, and Chris will attest, they really changed a lot.
Yeah, they did a really good job at it. Although there isn't any big museums there, there's all kinds of, so Gettysburg, the center of Gettysburg is this circle, and there's a bunch of artery roads that come off of it. And in that main town, people have, of course, been scraping the battlefields for years, and whatever artifacts they take from it, there's stores all over the place. So you can walk in and out of these stores and see all the artifacts. If you want to buy it, you can buy it, but it's like a museum. You can walk in one, out the other.
There is a museum in the town called the Gettysburg Gettysburg Museum of History, I believe is the name of it. You could look it up.
Yeah.
The guy who owns it is he's been on the History Channel several times. He's been on American Pickers and a bunch of the porn stars, a bunch of those shows he's been on.
Porn stars, take it easy, man.
Porn stars, sorry, right? And but we went on a Tuesday and it wasn't open on Tuesday, so we ended up going to a couple of gift shops, I guess you could call them.
Gotcha. Nice. Yeah, next time you guys think about going, let me know.
Yeah, well, I think Chris, you were talking about maybe taking your oldest daughter there.
Yeah, we're gonna go late November. They're doing a reenactment of the Gettysburg Address.
Oh, wow, that's cool. How old is your oldest daughter? Brittany?
Brittany, yeah, she's 15 now.
Nice. Last time I saw her was at Julianne's wedding. She gave me a look like, who the fuck is this guy? That's the look she gave me. She's like, fuck you, man. I'm like, all right.
I'll give you that look every time I see you.
I was gonna say she got better at that look. She does that. She does that to me now.
No, but I think she's old enough to appreciate Gettysburg.
She is, yeah.
What happened there?
She's been with me a couple times to the rallies in Harrisburg. She appreciates that.
Oh, what rallies?
To leave me alone and open up the state rallies.
Oh,
We don't have to go down.
well,
We don't have to go down that rabbit hole on this one.
you shouldn't have to go to Harrisburg for that either.
Yeah, do we want to get political on the first one with Christopher?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Joe, just leave me alone, man. Leave me the fuck alone. Joe, I'll take your mask and shove it. All right.
I have a sneaky suspicion Christopher might be his boycott list might be greater than mine. I don't know.
Maybe locally, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're following the Mets this year, Chris.
Who?
Oh, you're not watching baseball either?
I haven't watched anything in about a year.
Wow. Okay. All right. I really honestly don't. I had no energy to talk about the Mets. I'm exhausted right now with them.
There's millions of us, Sean. Get used to it. They're ready.
In fact,
coming back anytime soon. Although
to put it, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say I have to admit I saw the opening of that cornfield game, which was pretty cool.
That was cool. Field of Dreams game was pretty dope.
Yeah. But that's the highest rated thing they had all year. Otherwise, the ratings are in the shitter.
You see how the ball travels without fans around? That ball flies out of there.
Yeah, it looks like a little league field to me. Anyway.
It traveled differently. At least that's what it looked like on TV. But we know that. I guess we know if Shawnee Boy, which is me, right, bans baseball, then you know baseball's in trouble.
Yeah, well, no, they're in trouble anyway. Hate to say it. So is the NFL and definitely basketball.
Baseball, it is. It's a tough watch. I've been talking to a lot of people since I've been doing this podcast. I've kind of been asking different people when they were fans, and a lot of people are like, "Yo, it's hard to watch these days." Not for political reasons, just like the actual fucking game itself and the way they play it. It's hard to watch. It's a hard game to watch.
Well, as I've explained before, it's not so much that as they've taken the teeth out of the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, they took the and then we talked about the shift. The shift is like one of my friends made a great point. He's like, in basketball, there's a legal defense. In football, there's a legal defense. You can't just do certain things. In baseball, you can people wherever the fuck you want.
You can do whatever you want in the NBA too. You can double dribble from the half court line.
But in basketball, you have to there's certain things of defense you can't do. Otherwise, it's an illegal defense. You can't just fucking be anywhere you want. And in baseball, you can put everybody on the right side of the field if you wanted to.
Yeah, the more they try to make it palpable to the younger people, the less entertaining the game becomes, in my opinion.
But that ties into what Christopher wanted to talk about
baseball. But yeah, a point to that is baseball is all strategy. It's all what was the old quote? 80% mental. Like if you take the strategy out of it in an attempt to speed up the game, then it's just for the people that appreciate the game, it takes that away.
Well, Yogi Berra is famous for that, but the actual quote is 80% half mental.
Yeah.
That's what makes the Yogi Berra-ism.
I'll leave it with this. Baseball, right? Like I've watched the whole season because of all the restraints and rules. It's like watching something that's being suffocated. Like I feel like the game is suffocated, and I'm like, dude, fucking breathe, man. Put two guys on short and third, and put on defense, guys second and first, and let these guys hit some fucking baseball.
Block the plate. Will you block the plate, please?
Yeah, but whatever. But that ties into Christopher wanted to talk about us as kids playing baseball.
Yeah, well, we blocked the plate.
Yeah, we didn't play it wasn't like, I mean, we blocked the plate in Little League, but it wasn't like that. What he's talking about is in the front yard, it was me and my brother really started. We played one-on-one baseball, which is, it's hard to believe, but we actually did when I was 5 or 6. But then we played this game called one-on-one. And for example, I use our screen. Uncle Tom, you're up the bat, right? So you have your own score, and then I'm pitching and Christopher plays defense. And then you would get out, and then I would get at the plate, and then Christopher would pitch, and then you would play defense. We keep rotating, but everyone would keep their own scores and stuff. I'll let Christopher take it now, but it was a childhood.
I mean, it was if you looked at the yard and said, this is a baseball field, you'd be like, you're crazy. But we made it into a baseball field. Yeah. Like the edge of the driveway was the edge of the sidewalk was the pitcher's mound. That was your rubber. right? And then the house, if like this, right? So the house had a perfect cut in it where the siding was. It came down to this stone wall, and the stone wall had these. It was
Four.
gray stones.
Had, like,
Yeah, but the
perfect stuff.
four were perfect. It was, and there was different colors too. I think there was an orange one.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it was like this should be a batter's box, and that's what we made it. Like
And
that
it
was the strike zone.
It was centered on the house. It was like
perfect.
yeah.
And then you had to pitch under this tree to get to the stone wall, so you couldn't have any high pitches, or you're gonna hit a branch. So it actually trained you to be like an awesome pitcher. Remember the tree that hung over?
Like wiffle ball or Spalding? What did you use?
Tennis balls.
Oh, tennis balls. Okay.
and a wiffle ball.
Wiffle ball bat, yep. And then we would do all the stuff with the wiffle ball bat, like tape it up, and I think we even like at a time we put some newspaper in there, didn't we?
Yeah, like as we got older, right? So we're swinging harder. So like like the wiffle, like by I think the last year we played it, we had like a 10 wiffle ball bats because we would just go through them.
Stop breaking.
Break,
By the last time you played it, your neighbors were probably ducking.
Well, like during that time, the neighborhood I grew up in that we lived in, it was a summer home neighborhood. So nobody, like literally nobody was around. It was very few people living in these houses during the summer. They would come up maybe on the weekends every once in a blue, but literally like when we were like 11, me, Christopher, and our buddy Ryan, we like kind of ruled the neighborhood. Not in like we were like vandalizing, but like nobody, like we could kind of just roam and not be bothered by anybody.
Yeah.
And the other thing about the behind the pitcher's mound was the driveway. That's where the defender would play. Right, and then behind them was a warning track of dirt, and then a stone wall for home runs. It was kind of like,
yeah.
And the tree that you pitched under, what was the reason why the whole thing worked was because it knocked down a lot of home runs and knocked down a lot of shots. So it made the field playable because I think the home run wall was like 90 feet to the center field. It wasn't far, but because of all the obstacles, it just worked.
So everybody was right-handed, and I'm a right-hander, but I bat left-handed. And as I got older, and I would never win at this game. As I got older, I realized that if I just line one down the line, because we had a tree that was fair, and it didn't matter if across the street and went to the neighbor's yard, it was still fair. You had to chase that ball down. So that was my go-to, and I'm pretty sure that's what inspired Sean to go switch. He started to learn how to bat left-handed.
Yeah, that's right.
When Christopher, when he's young, and he first moved to Florida, remember when Uncle Richard moved to Florida? We invented a game. I don't know if you remember Pen Pal Baseball, Chris.
Pen Pal Baseball, that's right. You know what? Just a couple of weeks ago, we found something in storage. It was an old letter from that game.
What, like he would, I forget the rules. Do you remember the rules?
Not exactly, but the premise of it was that you wrote a series of pitches and swings, right? And then the other person would write pitches and swings, and you mailed it at the same time. And you kept a copy of it, and you matched up what the pitches and swings were in each inning. So each mailing was like a half an inning. I believe that's how it worked. So that if let's say Uncle Tom said, I'm swinging at a fastball, and I said, I'm pitching a curveball, that'd be a strike. And it was really detailed like that.
That's pretty crazy. That's I mean, you guys are ahead of you. I mean, I'm sure you're not doing people in the world that have done something like that, but you're ahead of your time because people do that stuff now through the internet.
Yeah, I forget. We actually had rules, and the way he described it is not far off. I don't remember specifics, but it was pretty cool. It actually worked. It actually worked. But we never patented it, Sean.
No.
Just like your cell phone sunscreen.
I'll say this: I visited Christopher in Florida one summer, maybe for a week. And Christopher, I have to thank you because it was the first time I ever played golf. I don't know if you remember, Christopher. I came to visit you, and we actually played 18 holes. It was like a golf course with alligators and like that whole like when you.
Yeah, that's right.
And now I'm like this avid golfer, and I always remember like.
Now he's on a Masters tour and
trying to get pro one day.
I forgot about that until you just said that. Wow. Yeah, well, I golf myself.
Are you a golfer now?
Yeah, I golf. The clubs are in there somewhere. Yeah, I try and get out a bunch during the summer.
Ah, good, man. Nice. Yeah, it's a beautiful game once you start to realize how to hit a ball.
But it gives you something else It gives you something else to get mad about and yell.
It will definitely test your patience. That's for sure. But yeah, that was a great childhood game that like from me and Keith, and then our buddy Ryan would play, and it was something that you know
It's something you can always hold on to, but I feel like you couldn't even like try and recreate. I'm looking around at my neighbor's houses like, can we play this here? Absolutely not. There's no setup for it.
And kids don't really
You have to have a mind of a child to be that creative.
yeah. And kids like they don't hang out like that anymore. They not that, like let's say my nephew, he had buddies come over last Saturday. There was 4 of them, but then they won't see each other. We grew up like with neighborhood, like in the neighborhood. I know obviously T grew up in the city neighborhood, but Westchester neighborhood was the same concept. Like anyone who lived close to you would hang out with.
Yeah.
So they don't do that no.
That guy, I remember that kid, Ryan.
Yeah.
He lives in Los Angeles now.
Yeah, he's married. He got married like 2 or 3 years ago, give or take. I'm not sure.
Does he know you're on this podcast?
Yeah, oh yeah, he's aware of it.
Is he a subscriber?
I couldn't tell you.
Because we have to charge him for dropping his name if he's not.
But like when I first said it, he's like Uncle. He just texted me Uncle Tom with like exclamation points. So yeah.
He said he's still alive.
But he died.
Holy shit.
Anybody who subjected themselves to listen or watch any of these podcasts would know I'm current culturally challenged, right? Well, I have these, my friends and I have this round robin text thing, where we text stupid stuff. And for some reason, yesterday, they were texting about over the years, which celebrities have died in August. I don't know why. And it was like 2 or 3 of them on the list that I didn't even know they were dead. So, one of them was Peter Fonda's Yeah, I was going to say Henry Fonda's kid, Peter.
I know the name, but I wouldn't be able to pick him out in a stand-up picture thing.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know he died. He's like, yeah, Tom, he died in 2019.
We didn't know he was alive. We
Yeah.
didn't know he died.
And that guy from Wham was George Michael.
Yeah, George Michael.
Yeah, I didn't know he was dead.
Great voice though. He's a good singer, man.
Well, how long has he been dead?
Probably 2 or 3 years, give or take.
Oh, see, I don't pay attention anymore. It's a wonder, Dita. Now I know why I don't return my calls. Anyway.
Is there another one you wanted to mention?
There was someone I never even heard of actually on this list.
Because now that we kind of touched, Chris, me and teams,
Excuse me, Sean. I remember why he came up because I think yesterday was the anniversary of Elvis Presley dying. That's how that came up. So just remembered.
were you is anyone an Elvis fan here? Like I know obviously I'm sure we all like a couple of the songs, like it's Elvis Presley. He's got some,
Yeah.
But like some people go crazy about him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put myself on the crazy level, but it's good song.
Yeah, he's got good songs. What was I gonna say? I forgot before.
I was never a big Elvis fan, but whatever.
Yeah.
I remember him dying, which I think was 1977. So every podcast we go through this thing where I say I was 15, Sean says I was 13, and we end up at 14.
Yeah. Oh no, what I was gonna say was, so I listened to the Amazing Grace song.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
that was good. Yeah.
It didn't hit me like the other songs. It didn't hit me like how we were talking about.
Well, then you couldn't have had the volume at 9 or 10.
No, I didn't. So
that's the key.
Yeah. So I got to pump it. But like the way his voice comes in is pretty amazing.
It's a very haunting. Speaking of ghost stories, very haunting voice.
If it's loud and you're surrounded by it, the best part of that, of course, is the end when all the bagpipes are playing and it comes back into the song. I think that's the best part of it.
Yeah, I like the variations he did on the melody too at the end. He's a phenomenal voice.
I'm kind of with Sean in the way that. Sorry, I'm in the quietest room in my house. I'm in my driveway, so the neighbors pass by. I gotta wait.
Mow your lawn, Sean.
The what was the bagpipe one from way back? The Scots.
Royal Scots Dragoons.
Yeah, that's still my top one.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I can see that. I understand that. In that caused me to actually research that. The conductor of the Royal Scots Dragoons at the time was chastised. He got called back to somewhere, Westminster or somewhere, for what they call defiling the pipes because he added orchestration to it.
Really?
Yeah.
That my first memory of this song, and sometimes I create memories in my head, so this might not even happen in the first place. But my first memory of this song is at Grandma and Pop-Pop's house. At one point, did the speakers that Uncle Stephen had, did they end up in that house in the living room?
That was Grandpa's speakers, which are also kick-ass speakers.
That's my first memory of that. He was laying on that blue couch, and he said, "You're gonna love this song," and he played it on like 11.
My father played it.
And yeah, that was the first time I heard that version of that song.
Actually, his speakers are just to my right here in the
same ones, really.
Yeah, no way I'm ever getting rid of them. One of these years I might actually hook them up, but
they ended up in our house for a little while.
Those speakers?
Yep.
Yes,
sure.
Right. I remember.
I thought I had them in the Bronx.
Well,
I hooked them up in the Bronx.
When we left Westchester, when my mom sold the house, she might have gave them to you.
Oh, maybe. Or maybe yeah.
We had them for a while, yeah.
I definitely had them hooked up in the Bronx.
Yeah.
Much to my neighbor's chagrin.
Nice.
The brown ones with the gold front?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that
was them.
They're right here. You want me to grab them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christopher, have you been following the podcast?
I have been, yeah. I subscribed on Spotify. I'm one of your biggest fans.
Especially that the one we did on C&M Housing Store. He thought that was the best one for some reason.
Yeah. The one about Uncle Steve I heard was a pretty good one.
That was good. Yeah, I listened to that on a drive. Like the second it came out, it just happened to pop up on the phone. I listened to the whole thing. It was really good.
Yeah, that thing has a ton of downloads. I didn't realize our family was that big.
Yeah.
So I reached out to all the subscribers, and both of us are starting a fan club.
So, Chris, T said something in the beginning. You weren't on the video?
What do you mean not on the video?
The Christina's
montage.
Oh, no, I wasn't. Yeah.
Well, this is your opportunity because Uncle Stephen probably watches.
What happened with that? You got to explain yourself a little bit.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Uncle Steve. I'll tell you I'll tell you what happened. So I was supposed to create the video, and when I said I would do it, we were traveling to Austin, Texas for a real estate meeting that we were going to. I probably could have driven over and just shook his hand.
A lot easier.
But then I'd like to offset the blame a little bit. And I was talking to Uncle Tom, and he said, maybe we can just edit you in and a little happy birthday, and it just never happened. So I'd like to blame you.
Go ahead. I'll take the blame. It was actually, did you watch it though on Facebook?
Yeah, it was really good.
She did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, the whole video came out great.
If you happen to be listening.
It still has eluded me. I still haven't seen it. I was supposed to watch it last week when I was in Millbrook, but I just never happened. So maybe tomorrow, maybe I can catch them all. Because I'm not on Facebook. I don't do any of that anymore. I don't do social media, so I'm not gonna get it.
Oh, you still have a Facebook page?
I don't. It's all off my phone, so I'm not like logged in. I don't even know what my login is anymore.
Well,
everybody in our house, and there's 6 of us here, watched at least twice. Aunt Virginia and Susan trying to get through their video. That was that was hilarious.
because they were trying to say something in Gaelic. It was trying to say happy birthday in Gaelic.
Were they really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
bull. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They struggled through that one, but it was fun to watch.
It's easy to say in Gaelic. All you have to say is happy birthday, you bastard.
Truck. Last pandemic, like there's been more than one pandemic. Last year in the beginning of the pandemic, everyone was like, quartered in or whatever, and you were Zooming to talk to people. We tried to do like a Zoom call with Aunt Sue and my mom. Oh my God. It was amazing. They're like, I don't know how to hit the like. I'm like, it's working. I can see you, and then like trying to hit all these like buttons, and like they gave up. I'm like, whew, that was tough.
And literally, the hands were in the air.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like, I don't know how to. You know,
Not only are they cracking up on the video that they made for the birthday, but when you have a phone, you're holding the thing out here, so you get your whole face in there. They're all like they're like this in the video.
yeah. I'll say this though, like it's generational. Like, so I accidentally like on Spotify sent a song by DMX to two of my former students, which is fine, but I didn't even realize I did it. Like I understood how it worked, like I understand how to do that stuff, but I didn't like the kids who are 20 years younger than me are like, look at this moron. Like, what's he doing? So it's all perspective, man.
You sent what now?
What?
You lost them at DMX.
What the? Talk about generational. What button did you push?
Chris, did you understand me?
What the hell is this? A computer?
Absolutely.
That's all that matters.
Those computer
He's-
things?
I just proved the point. Right now.
It's generational. Yes.
So what does DMX stand for? Where is this button?
Yeah. How do you get? Is that a preamp? Can I buy that?
Hey, I'm learning. If we do this for another 10 years and I still say I'm learning, then it's on me.
We're in trouble. It's amazing to like explain something and in live action have someone prove the point. That's fantastic.
Yeah, no, I did it on purpose.
So that's the second time that name has come up in the past couple of weeks, because Mel and I, one of our favorite things to do in our off time is to embarrass Brittany, our oldest, because she's starting to hang out with boys now, and the groups of them will go out in different places. So when we pick her up, we try and roll the windows down and have something playing. And DMX was playing on the radio, and we blared that thing and slow rolled up to the pavilion they were hanging out at, and she's just, come on.
My God, that's amazing. That's really amazing. Now, do you know what song from DMX?
I don't.
Okay, that's all right. That's all right.
I mean, it was one of the popular ones, but I don't know the name of it.
All right.
You
That's
still listen to now, Chris. You still listen. Well, you sent me that Dave Matthews doing, was it Stairway to Heaven, I think, right?
It was in the middle of one of his songs. Yeah, that came out really good. Dave Matthews. Actually, the girls got me into country. I've been listening to some country. I mix it up. I still got my rock as my bass.
Sean, you ever get into Dave Matthews Band?
Oh yeah. I saw him a bunch of times live. He was a big when I was in college. He was a huge college band. Like he would do a lot of college tours, and obviously now they're like a huge band. But yeah, they are now. Chris, I don't listen to him as much, but the violinist got kicked out of the band for, I'm not gonna go into it for whatever reason. So like I heard that now they're trying to make that violin sound with like the piano and guitars, and it's not that it's just different. Like it's a different kind of band now.
Yeah, it was different to get used to. And it's actually really good because Tim Reynolds is a staple now. He stayed with the band, and he pretty much picks up where the violin left off on some of the solos, like "Lie in Our Graves" and songs like that. And then they mix in the keyboards with that. Yeah. But then they added a whole horn section.
Oh wow, yeah. I mean, again, I haven't seen them live probably in 10 years, give or take.
They lost the violin guy to whatever, and the saxophone player a while back. Of course, he passed away from the accident.
Yeah, so
they backfilled with basically 3 horns, and Tim Reynolds on lead or rhythm guitar, I should say.
Wow.
I've always had a love-hate relationship with that drummer.
Oh, he's so good.
Number one, he's so good. He's just so phenomenal on the drums. And what I hate about it is I'll never get there. Human beings shouldn't be as good as he is on them drums.
I think he's jazz technically trained, I believe.
Yeah.
But
he's similar to Omar. His style, in my view, is similar to Omar Hakim. I don't know if you know who that is.
No.
From the Police?
With David Bowie and Sting, but he's also jazz trained too. Just two phenomenal drummers. But that guy, what's his name? The drummer?
Carter
Beauford.
Yeah, he's just so phenomenal, really.
I saw them in college at Albany. Back then it was called the Pepsi Arena. I couldn't tell you what the arena is called now, but And you know, I obviously I might have been a little enhanced during the show. But like it blew me away how good the drummer was. Like I like to see him like live, and they were like about to hit their peak or their prime, whatever. And I was like, this blew me away. I walked away being like, yeah, that's the best drummer I've ever heard in my entire life.
There's some bands live never attain like the quality or the performance that they get on the albums. And then there's some bands that are just better live than they are that they could ever do in the studio.
They're one of them.
The two main things I had in my head was the E Street Band and the Dave Matthews Band.
Yeah, it's like they put albums out just to let you know they have music, but it's definitely the live music's better.
No, it's just that they're so much better live. Like the case in point is that song that they did on the Grammys, Dave Matthews.
You and Me.
You and Me. And I cannot listen to the studio version of that. I can't listen to the studio version of Lying Our Graves. So much better live, you know?
Yep.
But and the same with Springsteen. Like I can't listen to the studio version of The Promised Land as an example. You know?
Yeah.
They're just so much better live than they are in the studio. And not every band is like that, you know. Some bands are just better in the studio.
Yeah.
You know.
Like Milli Vanilli.
Yeah. All 15 of them.
Yeah. Milli Vanilli, Jesus.
Yeah.
Girl, you know it's true.
No, but there are bands that I've seen live that, you know, pretty good live, but they just didn't approach the performance they did in the studio.
Yeah.
You know, I hate to say it, but the Who was like that.
You saw them live?
I did post Keith Moon though.
All right. I mean, but still, I mean, like. I
mean, they're live. They're showmen. They're each and all of them showmen.
Yeah.
You know, but talking about performance wise, they just were better in the studio. In my opinion, it's my opinion. God damn it, I'm entitled to it.
Rock and roll, man.
Yeah. But and definitely the Stones. The Stones suck live. I'm sorry.
Oh, you saw them live too?
I never saw them live, but I've seen live performances of them enough to know that they suck live. I mean, when they came to the Garden, they started, I think, Jumping Jack Flash in 3 different keys, like 3 different musicians. So, you know, did they rehearse the song first or what? You know.
Hey guys, are we on the same page? You know.
Again, they put on, I guess Mick Jagger at least puts on a good show, but I don't know. Yeah. I love the Stones, but I love the Stones music.
Yeah, they're also, you know, we talked about them. Like, they were also a band that, like, you know, like with the Beatles, they, like, you know, they changed the game. They were part of like that game. They you know, so there's like, you know, there's you know, like the first time you hear the Stones in the 60s, like it's a new sound. Now you're just like, oh, it's I love the Stones, but it's not like it's kind of soft compared to what I grew up with. You know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, like Sympathy for the Devil, I've heard several live versions of them doing that, but it doesn't make me not want to ever listen to the studio version ever again. You know what I mean? I still prefer the studio version, and that's really what I'm getting at.
Yeah. So if you took those 4 bands and paired them up 2 to 2, meaning the Beatles and the Stones versus the Dave Matthews Band and the E Street Band, I think the big difference you find there is that the Beatles and the Stones are very robotic. They're trying to play the studio version of their song, and it shows live. Where I'll even go further with the Dave Matthews Band than the E Street Band is they just do what's happening today. Like they'll jam out and rock out and do their own version of it tonight, and it might be different tomorrow night. Well, I like that about a live band.
When the Beatles played live, you know, after a certain time, they didn't perform live anymore. But when they were playing live, it was a miracle they could play with all those screaming girls.
Yeah.
It's an amazing that they could hear each other, no matter what kind of monitor system they had, you know. Like you watch them on the Ed Sullivan Show, and you could barely hear them singing and playing with the screaming girls.
I've had a hard time doing things like that too.
Yeah, it's hard to work when all these girls were screaming at you.
Imagine that though. Imagine that. Imagine like you do your concert and like whatever, and then you're leaving the place and it's 6,000, 10,000, whatever the number is, girls screaming at you.
Or more scary than that, rocking the car that you're in, trying
Yeah,
to
yeah. So as much as like you might be like, oh, that's pretty cool, like just from like a guy perspective for a second, that's also scary. Like
Yeah.
So when I was in a story,
One is scary, Sean.
yeah.
Well, before you tell, I was gonna say,
Huh?
before you tell your story, I mean, that's just one night. I mean, if you think about how lucky married people are, like we can get yelled at by one person every single day. So,
When I was living in Astoria, like one of my main spots right by the subway, they did Channing Tatum did a movie with Al Pacino. I forget the name. It was all right, but they filmed it right around the corner, and I had no idea. And Channing Tatum at the time, like girls love him, whatever. So I turned the corner, this is not an exaggeration. There's thousands, maybe two, screaming at the alone girls because there's a break in filming, and I was like, yo, I don't know if I could. Like I don't know if I would want to be famous with stuff like that because it was like it was crazy. Like the whole street was just like, and then like to get them to quiet down to start filming again. It was like it was pretty nuts.
Yeah, well, this on our side of celebrity, it seems like a cool lifestyle, but I wouldn't want to be a celebrity either.
Nah,
It just
you can't do anything like on the normal stuff. Like you're gonna go out and grab a slice of pizza, especially in today's world where like if you're famous, everyone sees you through social media. Like you get bombarded. I'm like, yo, I just want a slice of pizza. Like,
yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, it's not like I'm famous, so what do I fucking know? But
well, everybody knows Sean E. Boy.
But it seems like, is the juice worth the squeeze, T?
we're getting there though. One podcast at a time. You'll get there.
Well, Sean E. Boy, they know him as Sean E. Boy.
Yeah, that's right.
When they find out his real name is Harvey Lipschitz, his private life's gonna go right into the ground.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Well, it's been an hour, boys.
Has it?
Almost, yeah. We've been talking an hour.
Yeah, it's I mean, it seems like Chris fits right in. It's pretty easy to
That's fun.
Yeah.
It is fun. But we should do this again in the very near future.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure the two of you have more to talk about than wiffle ball in the backyard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one of these times, let's test the boundaries and go political with it. Why not?
Well, I have a fella coming in tomorrow who wants to talk politics, so it might be our last podcast tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, he wants to get into the politics. Now, I'll say this: I can talk politics. I tend to not to, just because at the end of the day, I know people might be I'm like, I don't know if I care enough, man. Not about what's happening in the world, but to get into it.
Yeah, you're in a very advantageous position if you don't care that much.
No,
I get it, but I think the title of that gets loosely placed too. Like, if you care about what's happening just in society and you care about what's happening to yourself, people call it politics. It's not necessarily politics.
Yeah.
It's leave me alone. That's what it's called.
Yeah. So, but to get into it with people because it's such a, like everyone's on like their, the edge of their seat, ready to you're like, oh, whoa.
It's very hard to have a rational, polite disagreement on politics nowadays.
So, but I guess tomorrow
I try and avoid it as well.
Yeah. We'll see tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll see tomorrow is right. But
when does that one get released? Because I'm going to put that on my calendar.
Well, it depends. It depends on when your uncle gets off his fat ass and edits everything.
I would guess next Monday is this one, and then the following Monday.
Actually, I can edit them down to make them sound like a liberal.
To make them sound what?
Make him sound like a liberal.
So he's not a liberal. Got it.
No, he's definitely not a liberal.
No, that's fine. I'm in the middle, man. Whatever.
No, I stay in the middle as well. I had this conversation the other day about being a non-affiliated voter. I'm neither a Republican or a Democrat.
Now, if you're truly in the middle, you got to have two guests, one on each side. That'd be phenomenal. Phenomenal subscribers that week.
Yeah, well, I it's hard for me to record record button and keep the two of them away from each other at the same time. But I am large. I can block the two of them anyway.
One thing I've learned about in my experiences in life is one side of the table can't be all right, and the other side of the table can't be all right. So
Well, lately, both sides of the table have been trying very hard to be wrong.
yeah.
So it's hard to say. But it'll probably come out, Chris. I'm so ahead of you people. I'm actually looking at a 2022 calendar. It'll come out a couple of Mondays from now.
January 15th.
Yeah. So we'll see. But
All right.
Shawnee boy, I don't know if you're coming up. So
No, yeah, I'll be up tomorrow. I'm guessing I'll get there probably around like 4:30, 4:45.
yeah, to whoever is listening and watching us, our last video presentation proved to me that some drastic changes have to happen in our video presentation. I mean, I think we're there audio wise, but so we're gonna futz around with this crap tomorrow if you're coming up.
Yep.
And we'll figure out a better way to film it, But
The audio
the
is perfect.
huh? Yeah, I was gonna
The
say
audio is perfect.
the best place to listen to us is on those channels, Spotify and Google and Apple and all of them.
How you doing?
Because you know why? You can actually pay attention to what the guest is saying better if you're not watching them. And I mean that generally. A lot of podcasts have YouTube channels now, but the podcast in its purest form is an audio presentation. It's not supposed to be a video presentation. And I listen to other people's podcasts, and you can actually pay attention to the words better or absorb them better when you're not watching them. You're not distracted by watching them.
I listen to all my podcasts in the car.
Yeah, I think most people that listen to podcasts, as a rule, listen to it while they're driving. I would say,
Yeah.
the overwhelming majority.
Anytime I listen to a podcast, I'm a fan of Joe Rogan. Not religiously, but like I would listen to his in the car.
Well, you see, he had the video, which I think you could watch.
Yeah, you can watch him.
He have videos.
Yeah, he's YouTube.
I know he has YouTube, but he used to have all of his podcasts on YouTube, the full podcast. Now he has like 8-minute snippets of them because he signed this deal with Spotify. But I don't know. Spotify doesn't have a video element to it, does it?
I don't think so, but I'm not an expert at it.
Yeah, so he still has this video thing, but it's like 8 minutes long. I follow him on YouTube. And then the full podcast is available on, I think, exclusively Spotify, because he signed a humongous like $18 million deal with Spotify or something.
Yeah, ours is right around the corner.
Sean and I turned that offer down. That's why Joe wrote that.
Listen, we want to keep it grassroots, all right?
You say 18 million. What the hell's that? It's chump change.
What am I going to do with that?
All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming by today. I had a real good time. Got a little scary in the front talking about ghosts, but
Well, thanks for having me on. This was fun.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely need to. How's your business coming along?
Good. We're busy all year this year.
Yeah.
Just picked up a new office space, so we'll be looking to move here in September.
For your staff. When I was down there, Sean, he has a meeting once a week. He has like 6 employees. However, right?
Chris,
Yes.
he's killing it. I was in that Zoom. I know he's killing it.
Well, didn't we learn a lot about his business during that Zoom?
Good time,
And I happened to be there when he had that meeting. Because what is it? Every Tuesday you have it, Chris, or what?
Yeah, every Tuesday morning.
Yeah, and I was surprised at how many people he has, and they're all seem like very good. They all seem knowledgeable about what their aspect is, what their job title is. So now you have so what is it going to be, like centralized?
Yeah, we'll have a central workspace. What did we get? 850 square foot, right on the main road.
Nice.
It'll be cordoned off into 3 sections where Mel will have an office. There'll be a common meeting space, and then like a lounge area for people to come. Like we can have settlements there, and meet with different people, whether it be lenders or sellers or whatever,
And coffee.
and coffee. Yep.
A little coffee. I'll say this though, from the Zoom we did with your real estate and just start. You know what I gather. You seem really happy, man, and that's awesome to see.
Oh yeah, this has been great. Like we both put in our time, obviously in both of our professions in the past, and I mean 20 years in the firehouse. When I got out, she had 10 years in nursing, and then it was she actually always had the interest in real estate and introduced me to it.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like really interesting things. There's like 1,000 different avenues you can take with real estate, and we found a niche that we liked and ran with it.
And you were a fireman, weren't you? You were a captain, actually.
I was, yeah.
Big
I was
time.
in for 20 years and a captain for 11 of them.
Did you end up walking away with a pension?
I have a pension, yeah.
God bless your heart. Nice, man.
It's on paper right now. I can't use it, but there's a pension there.
You got to be 55, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Same with me.
Just to close this out, it's C&M Housing Solutions. What was that website again? Or one of your main websites?
It's sellmyhouseasis.com.
I can learn more about your business.
Yep, absolutely.
Sean, I should divulge to you, he did talk me into, or me and my partners into investing. So,
all right. Well, listen, you be the guinea pig, and if down the road I have an opportunity, maybe I'll get involved.
yeah.
There's always opportunities.
I'm a New York City teacher. Let's pump the brakes.
There's always opportunities. Maybe you can invest in our coffee and we'll give you a return at the end of the year.
Guys, like you get Dunkin' Donuts, I'm in.
We're gonna pull out some of that massive sponsorship money we get on this podcast
That's right.
and invest it with Christopher.
Well, I mean,
Save a little.
Def Leppard could owe us a little bit. Let's be honest. We're throwing them.
You get a what?
Def Leppard behind you. We're throwing them some advertisement.
Yeah. You're the one that put that there, by the way.
That's right. That's
It was
right.
here last week. Still there? Oh my God, it's still there. Yeah.
Maybe you can get $20 from Ed Cranepool. I think that's him in the background too, isn't it?
Eddie, my boy Eddie, yes. I always explain my failures in life. People grow up in the Bronx or in New York City. A lot of them were, had Mickey Mantle as an idol or whatever. I had Ed Cranepool.
Just so you know, the Mets are retiring Jerry Coos' number, man.
36.
Yeah, they're gonna hit like up on the in the stadium. They're gonna retire Jerry Coos.
They should have retired 7, but then they gave it to Reyes and a bunch of other people had number 7.
I know that's one of your guys from your childhood. So
Well, yeah, Coos, but Eddie was an original Met.
yeah, he had all the offensive numbers until Dallas Strickland and David Wright.
Yes. Until like 1980 something, he held the record for most homers in senior year high school. I think he went to Morris High School.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, he went somewhere in the Bronx, but I think actually a kid from Morris High School broke his record. I think he had 17 homers, this kid. And I think Greenpool had 15 or 16. And then, the amount of games you play in varsity, that's pretty damn good.
That's impressive.
Yeah. So he didn't hit that many in the Mets, but, he was a pinch hitter deluxe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One track power.
One of the few guys who could hit Don Sutton. You guys are too young to know who Don Sutton was.
I know of him.
Oh, the name.
Yeah, I know of him.
Well, Eddie owned that mother.
He was on the Dodgers.
Yes, he was. Yes. Yeah. All right, boys. Well, we'll have to do this again in a month's time, I think.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
This was way too entertaining for me.
Yeah.
So we'll have you back in September and we'll shoot the shit again for an hour.
Sounds good to me. Maybe we'll do it from the office. What do you think?
A good gritty hour,
Boys, it was good.
Yeah. We want to see your office in the backdrop for the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that. We move in September 1st, so we'll be good.
All right, we'll do it sometime in mid-September then.
All right.
All right.
I'll talk to you guys.
We'll see you guys soon and take care of yourselves.
All right.